right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. We are back again live at 4:30 p.m. We're going to be discussing a couple of stories. Wijnaldum back in the Premier League, but what is more important is that he's been linked with a move back at Arsenal. I think that's really fascinating for me. We'll try to dive into that. What that really means and maybe what he could bring at the side, in those 6 months that he could be at Arsenal Football Club. I would really love to see Arsenal go out. I mean, it wouldn't really be very brave, but I think it would be just on point. At times, we don't make those transfers that are on point, and it really costs us. But January, we need a midfielder. Gigi Wijnaldum, linked with us, ex-Liverpool player, ex-Newcastle player. I love Gigi Wijnaldum. So try to dive into that and see what exactly is the story. Renato Sanches as well. Reports from France, the Telefoot, saying that Arsenal have been given the green light to sign Renato Sanches. Who should we go for? It's definitely either of the two, and not both of them. It's either Renato or Gigi Wijnaldum. Obviously, I do have my own questions about, Renato as a player, and I have my questions about signing Gigi Wijnaldum as a player. And then Dennis Zakaria, of course, that Dennis Zakaria deal affects both these deals. The fact that he might not move in January, or the fact that he might move in January, but also not move to Arsenal. And then the likes of Arthur Melo, who should Arsenal go for? We are going to be basically talking about our midfield situation at the club. Who should come in? Who should leave? Because at the moment we are in a bit of a mess. We need some quality attacking options in the midfield. We need that. We need that extra leg. Those extra legs in the midfield. And at the moment we do not have them. So basically that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. Make sure you smash a like on the video. Our like target is always 200 likes. That is not changing, at least for this year and next year. Our like target is gonna be 200 likes. So make sure you hit the like button if you're watching live, and of course let me know where you're watching from. Just type good evening in the chat, or good afternoon in the chat, depending on where you are, or good morning in the chat, and then just say hi. And of course, give me your opinion on these 3 players or 4 that we are going to discuss on the channel. One is Dennis Zakaria. Do you think Zakaria is better than Renato? In what Arsenal need? Should we go for Zakaria? Should we go with Renato? Or should we go with Gigi Wijnaldum? Or should we actually go for Arthur Melo? Because for me, I really think Arthur Melo is so exciting. Bit of a question there if he fits into the Premier League, and things like that. But I think it's very, very interesting as a progressive midfielder. And if we brought him in, probably we could have something a little bit sharper, in that midfield, because it's so blunt. It's very, very blunt at the moment. So, thanks everybody for joining me today. Make sure you hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. So I want us to start with the need for a midfielder. And if you look at that picture that I put up on the screen, it's the game we last played against Everton, and it's Smith Rowe. The focus there is Smith Rowe. We missed Smith Rowe in that game 100%. And the reason as to why I think we missed Smith Rowe was his ball progression, his ability to drive the ball, but also his ability to see a very, very different picture from other players on the pitch, but also from other midfielders on the pitch. I think Partey's passing was a little bit too casual. Not really a little bit, but it was too casual. Xhaka, of course, look, for me, I never expect anything out of Xhaka, like something dramatic, spectacular, unless he's going to make a very, very hard shot, and then find the back of the net. And he rarely does so. Xhaka, yes, his passing is okay. The leadership is there. And many people have been saying, we miss Xhaka. We miss Granit Xhaka. But for me, I've always said this, we always miss Granit Xhaka because we do not have someone better than him. And I think many Arsenal fans are starting to see that. We miss Xhaka because we do not have a player that we can actually, cry for. It's like you say you do not have milk, so I mean, if you do not have access to milk, you'll always cry for black tea. You'll always cry for. I mean, I don't really mean to say that black tea is bad because it's my favorite. But honestly, we know the value of milk is better than black tea. So my point there is we didn't miss Granit Xhaka. We missed a player who is better than the lot we have. So many people say, "Oh, bring back Xhaka, bring back Xhaka. Xhaka should come back, in the lineup as soon as he gets off injury." It's not that. I think what we need is a player who can do what Smith Rowe does, and that is really important for our team as Arsenal Football Club. We need a player who can provide us with the quality Smith Rowe provides us with. In the wider areas of the pitch, and I think we don't have that player. Think about it, argue with it, speak about it. We do not have a player who gives us what Smith Rowe gives us in the middle of the park. Because what Smith Rowe does is he gets this ball, picks it up, and then drives forward. But he really does that much of that in the wider areas of the pitch, which is really fascinating because again we get a lot of creativity and width on the pitch and things like that. But in the middle of the park, players like Yuri Tillemans, players like Thiago, players like Kovacic, players that think outside the box. We don't have that. And you saw it in the Everton game. Everton literally ran the show, right? They literally ran the show because they had Abdoulaye Doucouré. Because for me, again, Doucouré should be a 6. Like, sit down, sit in that pivot, concentrate there. But he never does he? He never does. He's always moving up and about the pitch. He's always distributing that ball. He's always increasing the pace. He's always getting into those dangerous areas. Of course, if you've seen his goals this season, you're gonna ask yourself one or two questions. One is, how does he get in those areas when he has players like Demarai Gray and Calvert-Lewin and Andres Townsend ahead of him? How does he get himself in those areas? It's because he's used to that. He's good at that, and we lack a player who actually does that. How many times do our midfielders like Partey get into the penalty area? How many times does Alberto Lokonga or El Neni or Xhaka get into the penalty area? So you see, you literally have a pivot that does basics. We don't need two players to do basics, in the midfield. We only need one player to do basics, and for me, Lokonga does it well. He picks up the ball, disposes the opponent, and then passes the ball, makes the easy pass, dribbles 1-2, makes the easy dribbles, and of course you don't blame him for that because that is his role in that team, and then makes the easy pass. My problem with Xhaka and Partey, the recent Partey that we are seeing is they have taken up Albert Sambi Lokonga's role, which is basic. For Partey, it's not 45 million pounds to do basic things. For Xhaka, it is not 35 million pounds from Gladbach to do basic things. Leave the basic things to El Neni, because that is what his talent demands, and that is what his talent can provide. And also leave the basics, leave the basics to Albo Samuel Lokonga, because he's good at that. That's what he does. Pick up the ball and then make the easy pass to Thomas Partey, thinking and assuming that Partey will do something better with the ball. So again, guys, I think there is a huge demand, a very, very huge need for Arsenal to get in a midfielder who thinks out of the box. I'm always gonna mention the name Mateo Kovacic. I know many fans will say Kovacic no, but I think for me Kovacic is that kind of player that we want. Just reminds me of Modric and Kroos. I think Modric and Kroos are a bit on another level. Kovacic had the potential to get there. I think it's just one of those players that one of those midfielders that never fulfilled their potential. Kovacic, Brezovic, I feel like they should have done better. They could do better. They're huge talents, but we never got to see them. Whether it's because they didn't play for the likes of Madrid and Barcelona, where the limelight actually points, I do not know, but at least I know Kovacic and Marcelo Brozovic. Of course, Kovacic was there at Madrid, wasn't he? And he never, things never actually went his way. Came to Chelsea, which I think was a good move, and I think is really, really doing well. So, in light of that, Arsenal are being linked with two very crucial signings, and both of them could happen in the January transfer window. Of course, that is what we have to focus on because January is very imminent. It's actually coming in. Make sure you smash a like on the video, people. Thanks everybody. So let's start off with reports indicating that Wijnaldum, actually his name is Giorgino, right? Jorginho. It's so hard. It's so hard. It's like he's Brazilian. I don't know how he gets such this name because I'm used to Brazilians having this name. But anyway, let's get to it. Jorginho Wijnaldum, just like you could read it on your screen, could make a January loan move to Arsenal. The former Liverpool midfielder is willing to leave Paris Saint-Germain and keen on a move back to England. That is according to Sky Sports. And of course, the big man there, Cavesoleco, reporting on that. Big up to Cavesoleco and of course the good work there. So Jorginho, what are our thoughts? First and foremost, as football fans, and then also as Arsenal fans, because of course we've got to think about it in both dimensions. Right? So, what are our thoughts on Jorginho? Look, let's start off with Jorginho, then we shall dive into Renato Sanches because I really, really, really rate Renato. But my problem is the injuries, right? Don't get me wrong. If he signs, don't ever say, Cossy, you didn't like Renato. There's only one player that I've always been against signing for Arsenal in the past transfers, and it was Aaron Ramsdale because of the price tag. And of course, he won Man of the Match in November, so I really do not have problems with him. But let's get straight into it, right? Let's get straight into it. So, Jorginho Wijnaldum, just like you've seen from on the quote from Sky Sports, is more willing to move to the Premier League, and Arsenal, are one of the direct targets that direct destinations. Really, is a target. We are the destination. Newcastle is also linked with a move for Jorginho Wijnaldum. Now, look. It's a bit confusing, really confusing, because I know many Arsenal fans are looking at a transfer at the level of we need someone who comes in and, this young player around 23, 24, 25, and it's going to be here for some long time. And I think many of you are going to say, one, Liverpool refused to renew his contract, and then he went to move on to PSG, where he has not got the game time. You're going to ask me, why doesn't he get the game time? If he's not getting game time at Liverpool, at PSG, then he shouldn't be playing for Arsenal. But I think we are in a crisis. Okay, I don't want to call it a crisis, but it could turn into a crisis. Xhaka is being forced to play right after injury. He could go back on another injury. I don't want that to happen, but football is football, and we know it's going to be winter, or it's already winter. Players do pick up those nasty injuries, during this period of the time, period of the year. So if Gigi Wijnaldum comes in, one, it gives us that license, in terms of squad depth, and you need it. We need it, right? Because if he comes in, I think stubborn Mikel Arteta again will stick to either Lokonga and Xhaka, or will play Xhaka and Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I don't see him play Xhaka and Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I think come the 3rd of January, when the AFCON starts, Partey, Elneny will be leaving, and the likes of Pepe. So I think the midfield pivot will be Xhaka and Albert Lokonga. And I think that's the reason as why Xhaka is being hurried, to get better. He gave him 90 minutes against Everton. Come on. There was a big mistake, Mikel. Yes, I know, he's one of his big players, but for me, that was a big mistake. I mean, I do care for Granit Xhaka. I mean, as a player, he still has a long way in his career. If he had moved on to Roma, I think it would be like some 4 other years, on his career on a very, very straight path. But I think since he stayed at Arsenal, probably it's going to be 2 years and then he moves on. But so, Wijnaldum, one, what do we get in him? It's not goals. I've looked at his record in terms of goal scoring. It's not the best. I'm telling you, he doesn't have the best record in terms of goal scoring. His I don't want to say he sucks, but he doesn't have a lot of goals to his game. Right. So this is the time he spent at Liverpool. Or let's start off with the time he spent at PSV so that we can actually get it right. In 2014-2015 season, played 33 games and scored 14 goals. So and 3 assists. So you can see, at PSV he was a little bit advanced, and I think also at the Netherlands national team he plays a little bit advanced in that role where you think he gets the license to score many goals. We saw that in the Euros. I think he scored 2 or 3 goals in the Euros for them. He plays a little bit advanced, really, really advanced, not in the pivot, or not if it's in that 4-3-3, he plays among the 3 forwards, not among the midfield 3. So 14 goals in that season with PSV in the league in 33 games. That was really impressive. That was really, really, really impressive. Then from there, he moved on to Newcastle. 38 games he played in that 2015-2016 campaign, and actually he scored for them 11 goals and 5 assists. Really impressive, really, right? Really impressive. But like I said, in all these teams, in all these setups, he was playing in that advanced role. And again, we shall, we can see it here. When he plays for the Netherlands in the World Cup qualifiers, he plays a little bit advanced, and of course he gets that liberty, and freedom, which I don't think he will get at Arsenal, because you have the likes of Smith Rowe on the left, Odegaard in that number 10, and then Saka wide on the right hand side. So I think if Wijnaldum comes in, it's gonna settle for that deeper role. Arsenal, really. So at Liverpool, this is where he's actually spent much of his time. One thing I love about him is he is very reliable. He plays a huge amount of games, so he's not really injury prone. Because between 2016 and 2021 for Liverpool, there is no season there. Those are 5 seasons straight. There is no season where he played less than 33 games out of the possible 38 league games. He actually didn't play. He didn't miss more than 5 games in any campaign for Liverpool. That's quite impressive, really, isn't it? It's about it's quite about impressive. Of course, we got Liverpool got him in 2016 when Arsenal also wanted him. Of course, there are so many players that we have been linked with, and we always we always go back there and try to either re-sign them or seek refuge. I don't know what what is haunting us, but we always do. So 2016, 2017, at Liverpool, 36 games, 6 goals. Right, 17-18 that season, 33 games, he only scored 1 goal. And actually, I think he last scored many goals in the 16-17 campaign. From then, 17-18, 1 goal, 18-19, 3 goals, 19-20, 4 goals, and then the last season he played for Liverpool. He actually played all their games. He appeared in all their games. 38 games in the Premier League, and he only scored 2 times. I think that's why many Liverpool fans had started to say he's costing us, he's not providing anything, things like that. But for me, what I want from Wijnaldum is actually not goals. Yes, I want him to facilitate goals, but I need him as a facilitator. I think he would be a very, very good player, to our problems as Arsenal Football Club at the moment. We need a player who's a facilitator. We need that person who thinks for the club deep in the midfield. We need that person that can make things happen deep from the midfield. It's not, at the moment, it's not Partey. He's not doing it. Xhaka really rarely does it. And then Albert Lokonga, that is not his role. I don't want anyone to say Cossy Lokonga is not good enough. He's not actually thinking for the team. That is not his role. His role is to be an army. Is to be is to provide the defense for our territory, so that we can have the sovereignty. And I think he does it very well. I don't know why Mikel is dropping him for in the recent games. Absolutely mismanagement there. I think he's really misjudging him. I think Lokonga is really one of the best midfielders we have at the club. Believe me, you. And of course, I will talk about him and then Dennis Zakaria later in the video. But one thing I'm gonna say about Gigi Wijnaldum, if he comes in at Arsenal, we are not judging him by goals. At the moment, born in 1990, he's 31 years of age, so he's really aging. But the good thing there is he's coming in on a loan deal. I don't want to be one of those Arsenal fans who just brags, we have the money, we will go and bring in anyone. It's not true. We do not have the money to spend in January. We might actually go, get a 30 million euro, maybe midfielder in Renato, but we know, all of us know, that is not a guarantee. It's never a guarantee that Arsenal wake up and sign a 30 million euro player in January. It's not a guarantee. That player has to be good, and that player is going to be long term, right? And of course, I'll give you the advantages of us having Partey and Elneny leave, because for me, I think there is some advantage if we can take care of the situation and take advantage of the situation. So for me, Gigi Wijnaldum, yes or no? I would love you guys to let me know in the comment section. Big up EG, my man. Big up Gal, my man. Really, really love you, bro. Very big content creator there. Charles, big up to you, and big up. Sylvia Jacobs, big up. And then Amanda, also big up. I hope you're doing well, you lads. I really, really respect the fact that you're here. And I respect, the love you show to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. So, people, big question then. Gigi Wijnaldum, yes, or Gigi Wijnaldum, no? That's the question. Gigi Wijnaldum, yes, or Gigi Wijnaldum, no? Do you take Gigi Wijnaldum at Arsenal, or do you actually not care, or do you not actually want him near your club? Very, very big question. Would you take Gigi Wijnaldum at Arsenal? You could, because for me, again, it's another. For me, I just look at it as an opportunity. One, it's another player that can just come in for crisis management. For that period of time when we do not have Partey and Elneny, as we plan for the bigger thing in the summer. Oh, we could bring him in, works out well, and maybe just get him on a season long, maybe loan, or sign him for 2 years. I don't know, what could happen. But I'm looking for me at the moment. I'm looking at the short run, right? I'm looking at the shorter period of time where we have Gigi Wijnaldum at Arsenal, and I think if Wijnaldum comes to Arsenal, Mikel can play a 4-3-3. That's the first thing. He can play Wijnaldum, Xhaka, and Lokonga, and then you play Odegaard. Really not Odegaard there, but you could play maybe Smith Rowe, Aubameyang, and Saka, or you could play Saka, Lacazette, and Odegaard, or Smith Rowe, or whichever way you want it. He can, he can actually play in a 4-3-3, because we know he predominantly played in a 4-3-3 at Liverpool, right? Under the big man there, Jurgen Klopp. So again, guys, it's a big question. It's a very, very big question for us to answer. Gigi Wijnaldum, would I take him at Arsenal? Yes, I would. I'm not even going to lie, right? I'm not even going to lie. Yes, I would take Gigi Wijnaldum at Arsenal. I think he has the qualities, he has the attributes that many of our midfielders actually do not have at the moment. Whether you believe me or you do not believe me, it's true. He's got some attributes that many of our midfielders do not have. That, he can, progress the ball. I think he's very, very good. He always gets into those, goal scoring spaces. He can set up, as many assists as he can. And I think we might need a player like Gigi Wijnaldum. His age and things like that would restrict a long-term deal, and I don't want to see Arsenal go for him on a long-term basis. I think the summer is coming. How many months away from the summer? 6 months away from the summer. We need to start planning for the summer, getting a midfielder. We should have done that, last summer. We failed to do that, and now we're suffering for that. So Gigi Wijnaldum, I'll take him at Arsenal, but I would love to know your opinion, guys. There, would you take Gigi Wijnaldum at Arsenal? Very, very huge, very, very huge, question. And I I would love to know. Now, Dennis says Ateta out. EG says, big up to my man EG, Cossy in the house. Charles says, hello, this is Tugume Godfrey from Uganda. Big up to you, Tugume. Anu says, good afternoon, Cossy. Good afternoon to you, Anu. Hope you're doing well. Sylvia Jacob says, what's that? I didn't really get that. Amanda says, please, Mikel Arteta out now. We'll have a Mikel Arteta out show. I promise that. Alex, not really a Mikel Arteta out show, but of course we will talk about, the real facts about Mikel Arteta and maybe why we need him out. Probably. Alex says, Cossy, any confirmed news on a Brazilian striker called Yuri Alberto? Let me get to that. EG says, yes, he is, he is press resistant. And Anu says, yes, if it's a loan deal, he would take the man himself, Gigi Wijnaldum. Now, you've asked me about Yuri Alberto. There isn't anything as concrete at the moment. There isn't anything like Arsenal agreeing a deal or anything, but I can confirm that we have interest in Yuri Alberto according to Goal Brazil. So according to Goal.com, the Brazilian, the Brazilian outlet of Goal.com or the Brazilian branch of version, whichever you want to put it, they claim the Arsenal really have interest in signing that young striker, 20 years of age, Yuri Alberto. But at the moment, we do not have any confirmations. It would take around 15 million euros to sign him. Is it the striker I want? I think we will have a live striker show. It's not the striker I want really at the moment. I've seen Fabrizio Romano speak about Martinez, Lautaro Martinez again. I think Arsenal should. That's the kind of mentality. That's the kind of focus we should be having. Go for Lautaro. Why not? Go for Lautaro. We need Lautaro. Everybody knows that. We need a player like Lautaro Martinez. Anyway, but Yuri Alberto, thank you for the question. At the moment, not really, linked with nothing linked with Arsenal, but not really close to joining the club. I want to be honest. Right. So now speaking about midfielders, Arsenal have been given the green light to make a move for Lille midfielder Renato Sanches, who is valued at 30 million euros. Okay, interesting, isn't it? Quite interesting. Quite very, very interesting. And of course, this is from Fabrizio Romano, who says that Denis Zakaria has received many approaches in the last weeks out of contract in 2022. He recently changed his agent. Bayern have joined the race. Also, Liverpool asked for information since he's with Hassan, that name Sentikaya. Juventus and Barcelona are also interested. Open race. Okay, so look, these are two very interesting midfielders. Very, very interesting midfielders away from Gigi Wijnaldum. And I think later I'll speak about Arthur Melo. But let's dive into Zakaria and Renato. Importantly, Renato Sanches. Now, according to Telefoot, are they trustworthy? I do trust them around 30%. But at the moment, I think Renato Sanchez's deal is genuine. Absolutely genuine. And the fact the reason I say it's genuine, we've heard from Fabrizio Romano, who said the Arsenal do have a big admiration or a big interest in Renato Sanches, and they would love to sign the young midfielder. Whether that happens in January or in the summer, we wait to see. So Fabrizio Romano knows and confirms that Arsenal do have interest in Renato Sanches, and we would love to sign him in the summer. Of course, he says that Barcelona are also interested in Renato, and they tried to sign him last summer. They had an agreement with the player, but things actually never really did work out, and they actually walked away from the deal. So guys, between Gigi Wijnaldum and Renato Sanches, who do you go for? Who do we need? Because I think, again, like I said, if we sign Renato Sanches, it doesn't necessarily mean that we can't go for Denis Zakaria. If we signed Zakaria, it doesn't mean we can't go for Renato. Because for me, again, they're very different players. Very, very different. I've looked at Zakaria. Now, ball progression, 0. Not really 0, but he's not the kind of player that I would prefer to have at the moment next to Thomas Partey. I feel like Partey needs someone who's a little bit superior in terms of ball progression to him. Of course, someone who can also defend, the same. That's why I really wanted Ruben Neves in the summer, because I think Ruben really does it very well. The passing, the ball progression, the tackling, the dispossession, and things like that. He's really, really very, very good partner in the pivot. So Renato, according to Telefoot, and that is the big story, right? That's the big story. It's not. This is a big story. So according to Telefoot, reported via Team Talk, or Team Talk via Telefoot. I don't know, how, what exactly they mean here. Arsenal have been given the green light to make a move and sign Renato Sanches. The deal could cost us around. The deal could cost us around 26. Is it 26.4 or 26.5 million pounds? Close to 30 million euros. So big question now, guys. Renato or Gigi Wijnaldum? One thing I like about Renato, let's look at his statistics in terms of goal scoring and see, does he actually add something, or is he as basic as Gigi Wijnaldum? Because for me, Gigi Wijnaldum, very good. A couple of years ago in terms of goal scoring, and now it has all disappeared. So let's see with Renato, what exactly can he offer in terms of goal scoring. So Renato, currently playing for Lille Metropole in the 2019-2020 season, 19 appearances, 3 goals. Okay. Last season, 23 appearances, 1 goal, 3 assists. 2021-2022, this season, 9 matches, 1 goal, 1 assist. So anyone is going to ask me, Cossy, would you take Renato or Awa? Amar is going to take Awa, you know that. But let's say this, people. I think what we need in Renato and Gigi Wijnaldum is ball control, is someone, players who are press resistant, players who really work hard, and players who can dribble better, but also players who can think outside the box. I think they have those qualities. In terms of goal scoring, they are not there. They are absolutely. I don't think they come anywhere close to players like Santi Cazorla or Cesc Fabregas. They don't come anywhere close to that. They don't. Because, again, I would love to see an Arsenal that has a Cesc Fabregas, a Samuel Nasri. But Nasri, in terms of goal scoring, was another player. Cesc Fabregas in terms of goal scoring was another player. But Renato, so let's speak about Renato. Would I take Renato Sanches at Arsenal 1,000,000 times? Yes, I would. I would take Renato Sanches at Arsenal 1,000,000 times. And it's not really being deluded, honestly. It's not being deluded. It's just that I love him. My problem with Renato Sanches, and of course, I know many people are going to say the same thing with Renato, is he's injury prone. That is his problem. If he can ever keep fit, I mean, it's just like Abu Dhabi, that talent, Thomas Rosicki, that talent that be fit for 3 seasons, and then you are going to be the headline maker. Jack Wilshere, again, another one. Be fit for 3 seasons, be fit for at least a full season, and you're going to be the headline maker. What a waste in Diaby. What a waste in Thomas Rosicki. Obviously, Rosicki played some minutes, but what a waste in players like Jack Wilshere. Because we know at heart what they are capable of. We know what they were going to provide. And we know what we missed by them not actually being able to provide that. We know what we actually missed. But what I'm going to say, people, is Renato Sanches, can he keep fit? That is my problem. That is my problem. Can he keep fit? Before I actually recommend or disregard the player, we've got to ask ourselves that. So let's see. Benfica, in his breakaway season, he played 24 games, right? And then from there, he actually joined Bayern, didn't he? He joined Bayern. And 2 seasons for Bayern, he actually played 17 games, right? And then at Swansea, he played 12 games. And then for Lille, he's played 23. So there is what I'm trying to tell you is that there is no season where he has played 30 games. There is no season, right? There is no season. I mean, you care about the player. He's only 24. His career is so we cannot actually start cussing him because he also wants to play. I know if he's if I'm Renato, I'm crying because I want to play game in, game out. I want to be that shining star because everybody believes that he's good, and the truth is he is good. That's the truth. But he can't play games. He's always in the sick bay. He's always out. He's always injured. That's my problem with him. And the problem with injury is that whenever you come back a very, very different player. That's the problem, right? You always come back as a different player. But we've seen him, at Portugal. I know many people have not watched him, at Lille. So have I. No, I've not really watched him, much at Lille. But we've seen him at Portugal. He's a very, very good player. He's a very interesting talent. Very interesting talent. And I know many Arsenal, 10 out of 8 out of every 10 Arsenal fans will say they take Renato over Granit Xhaka. Because for me, people, I believed in Xhaka. I was excited when he signed him. I was happy, but it didn't work out. Honestly, it didn't work out. He's been consistent. Plays so many other games. So many games in a season. That is his advantage. Very, very reliable as a player. But I don't think we got what we wanted. I don't think we got what we would have got if we signed in N'Golo Conte or someone like Sumare or someone or whichever player you want to think about. I don't think we got that. So in the end, Renato Sanches, no goals to his game. He's just 24. If we had a manager like Pep Guardiola, I wouldn't be really concerned. I think Pep can bring goals out of Renato and more assists, but Mikel can't. Honestly, Mikel can't. I'm just looking at him handling the likes of Odegaard and Saka, and you can see that this talent is not actually being developed. The talent, yes, he wants to develop them as a whole, but to develop players as a whole, you need then to have these. You need to have them develop individually before they can give you the whole sum, right? And I think Mikel is not actually providing that with these players. I don't see Saka improving. I don't see Smith Rowe improving. I don't see Odegaard improving. I just see players that are doing their own thing, and we are praising them because they're doing their own thing. But the truth is, for me, they are not really improving. So if Renato joins Arsenal, the advantages to that. One is we would get rid of Xhaka in the setup. Of course, he comes in for the short term. He fits in the short term, fills in the gap, but also gives us that ability to think about other positions in the summer, like drive out Deadwood in the summer and get in a decent striker. It's going to be a very huge battle for Arsenal to get in a striker. And I think if we're not going to talk about the match, our match preview against Southampton today in the evening, we would have talked about our striker position. But then we might actually just talk about our striker position, in the preview. So I think in the summer, our focus should be getting in a striker, whether that is going to be Vlahovic, whether it's going to be Calvert-Lewin. It's going to be so hard for us to attract a player. He's a good forward, who's a very, very good forward. So Renato, bring him in January, 30 million euros. That's a good price. Bring him in January. He's again that player that fits in the price. The price is right. The age bracket is right. 24 years of age. I don't think he's so old. He's not really older because if you look at the likes of Ramsdale, 23, Gabriel Magalhaes, 23, Ben White, 23. Tomiyasu 22, Kian Tierney 23, Odegaard 23. So it's the same age bracket. So he fits into the project and he provides us with something different. That is what I'm looking for in a midfielder. I'm looking for that different thing. I can't find it at Arsenal. I don't find it in any other Arsenal players. And to be honest, I think we need a player who can provide us with something different. So Renato, is that man. Very, very good dribbler. Very, very good dribbler. So the question is now, would I take Renato over this man? There. Dennis Zakaria. Not Paul Pogba. not Paul Pogba, but Dennis Zakaria. Would I take Renato Sanches, or would you take Renato Sanches over Dennis Zakaria? And my answer is going to be quite short, precise, and simple. Yes, I would. I think if Arsenal wants Zakaria, like it's been reported, Arsenal want to sign Dennis Zakaria on a free in the summer. The signing of a player like Renato or Wijnaldum does not affect us. It doesn't affect the Zakaria deal. Because at the end of the day, it's either going to be Albert Sam Lokonga playing regular team football, or you're going to bring in someone. And I think Lokonga should be replacing El Neni, like in terms of backup, being a backup player, and providing the squad, the squad with that squad depth, being very, very active in FA Cup, Europa League, and the Carling Cup. And then you bring in someone like Dennis Zakaria, who you trust is ready. Lokonga is good, but of course we saw him against the Liverpool game, against Liverpool in that game, again, a little bit shaky, but of course don't blame him. He's playing against players like Fabinho, who played this game for almost all their life now. He's playing against the likes of Thiago, Jadon Henderson, James, not really James Milner because he didn't play in that game, but, Fabinho, Thiago, Henderson, who else played in the game? The likes of Chamberlain. So it's, for me, it doesn't cost us. It really doesn't cost us. Go out there, get in a player like Renato, and then bring in Zakaria as well. It's the future, right? It's the future, because Zakaria is 23, 24, and then Renato is 23, 24. If you pair them in the midfield, and then of course that provides more more comfort to Thomas Partey. In the end, when this project matures in the next 5 years, if at all it does, when these players are 26, are 27, 27, 28, Partey will be away, because Partey is 28. He will be 33. He will have left the club, or probably he will be retiring by then, or probably going to China or things like that. So what Zakaria can give us with Renato is, again, we get to build something for the future, right? And the advantage they have is you build something for the future with players that also provide quality at the moment. Absolutely. Look at Ben White and Gabriel. At the moment, for me, we have, I say this, we have some of the best centre-back, one of the best centre-back partnership in the Premier League. At least we are there in the top 5 centre-back partnerships. I can take Matip Van Dijk. I can take that. I can take Maguire, Varane. If they're fit, I will take that. I can take Thiago Silva, Rudiger. That's really good. They're really performing at the top level. And then there, I'm just gonna squeeze in Gabriel and Ben White, because their level of communication. Yes, I know they're still young. They're still really conceding goals that we can deal away with, but they're good. They're really good. So that's the advantage, that you have players that give you what you want at the moment, but again, they are for the future, right? They're not like Saka or Smith Rowe or Odegaard, because for me, again, those are very, very talented, but they look more like they're for the future. If you look at them, they are more of the future. If you brought in a player like Lautaro Martinez, one of them would drop. If you brought in a player like James Maddison, one of them would drop. So that's what I would love to see. Get in Zakaria and build the future. Get in Renato Sanches and then build the future. That is what I want to see with us with this Arsenal side. So with Zakaria, let's see. Let's look at this just a moment. Fabrizio, they're saying that if you look at the clubs that are interested in him, it's gonna be so hard. Juve, Barca interested, in the young midfielder. Then you have Liverpool there as well, interested. Then you have, your Bayern. I don't know what Bayern want with Dennis Zakaria, really. I don't get what they want with Dennis Zakaria. I don't get it. Like, they have Goretzka, they have Kimmich. Can't you just have enough? I mean, can they just have enough? Can they just sit there and they're like, okay, it's enough, right? It's enough. It's like they can't. It's like they can't. But I don't blame any team. Zakaria is a top talent. Really, really a very, very big talent. And any clubs that really want him, I think they will be getting themselves a very, very good player. So with Zakaria, it seems that it's going to be either a price cut in January for any club that's going to take him, or it's going to be more of a free transfer. If it's a free transfer, with all those clubs that are interested, I don't see Arsenal beating off the competition unless we go back to Champions League. Unless, because if you go back to Champions League, then we can guarantee him game time. But Juve can also give him game time. It's complicated. It's really, really complicated. But anyway, for me, Zakaria, if we can't get Zakaria, I think there's some other players out there that we can go for. But with Renato or Awa or Arthur Melo, I think that is the urgent situation. We need a box to box that is really talented. We need someone who thinks outside the box. We need someone who can really do the pressing because our press really lacks a lot. So if we can get someone who can do the pressing, I'm on Arsenal. I'm on Arsenal side. And then lastly is Arthur Melo, right? Lastly is Arthur Melo. But before we get to that, I wanted to discuss with you Dennis Zakaria's statistics going forward. His pass completion is okay. It's at 88%, based on as provided by FBref. He pressures pressures per 90, 12.7. That is also okay. Interceptions 2.8, blocks 2.00 per 90. So you can see that the defensive part of his game is okay, but when it comes to assists, number of assists per 90, 0.05. Number of assists, expected, 0.05. Number of shots in total per 90, 0.9. So the offensive part of his game is not yet there. We've got to agree. The offensive part of Zakaria is not there. Right? He's one of those, for me, traditional midfielders. Give me the ball, and I'm going to give it to you back. I'm going to dispossess, but I need someone brilliant, someone wise, to take this ball away from me and then take it further. So again, still, if you have a Dennis Zakaria, you still need a player like Renato, and you still need a player like Arthur Melo. But again, Melo there, Arsenal really being reported that they have strong interest there. So you never know. You never know what could happen with Arthur Melo, right? So I want to look at some of your comments yet again and see. Okay, so this is way forward, fisherman. And it says, Cossy, good afternoon, bro. Basically, on my time right here, please, what's the latest news about our general transfer window? Basically, that's what we've been discussing, bro. Renato Sanches, we've been given the green light to sign him. And then you have the likes of Kulusevski also, on the radar. Like I said, it's a lot. It's really, really a lot. But of course, we've been discussing much of that. Yasin says, good evening, Cossy. How about the Kulusevski deal? So with Dejan Kulusevski, the latest we have is we have to meet the valuation that Juve have put. They want around 40 million euros. The deal is, the gap is believed to be bridgeable. So it's not the gap that Arsenal believe is not bridgeable. It's a gap that is really, really bridgeable. We're just waiting for official talks to progress. Of course, they're expected to be to be progressing anytime. That meeting that I really did report about, we are really, really interested. We have already, initiated initial contact with the player. So it's about, it's all about now, to get out of their, their deep slumber. Cossy Wijnaldum is better option for the Arsenal midfield. I could not disagree with you, honestly. I cannot disagree with you, honestly. I feel like if Arsenal get Wijnaldum, he is a decent option. Right? He is he would be very, very, very decent option. Unless I'm wrong, but I think it would be a very, very decent option. And then Okoma says it's okay to bring in Wijnaldum on a loan deal. All right. Robert says, hey, Cossy, what is your most weak area in Arsenal? It's the midfield. It's the press, right? it's the press. It's the press. I feel like, look, I would say our forwards, but it's only Aubameyang, right? It's only Aubameyang and Lacazette that are letting us down, right? Yes, they're weak. That area is really weak, and they're really making it weak. But I'm still going to say it is our midfield, because again, it's not providing enough. We are being dominated every game. Everton dominated us. Liverpool did dominate us. Manchester United dominated us. When we played against Newcastle, they had their moments in that game. Although I think they still, failed to capitalize on anything in that game. I think the midfield needs to, strengthen, really, if you're going to do anything as a club. Hello, Cossy. I'm so happy that you have you have improved a lot compared to early this year. The energy, the information about the show, the information that shows about those shows, really, I appreciate. Oh, thank you so much, Lambert. That's a really, really good comment. Of course, that shows you that someone has been following the channel. I'm really grateful. Really, really, really grateful. And then Raymond says, you are the best. Says Gua Singer, you are the best. Thank you so much, Raymond. With Arsenal signings, Lambert says, with Arsenal signings, I always wait for what they give us. As fine otherwise, one might be heartbroken. I mean, you're right. Yeah, you're really right. Zlada TV, big up. I can't really read the language, but big up to you, Zlada TV. Hope you're doing well, mate. Hope you're really, really in good shape. The problem with Renato majorly is that he is injury prone. I would prefer maybe the other, who's Gigi Wijnaldum or Zakaria. I spoke about it. His problem is being injury prone. That is his problem, really, being injury prone. No, Cossy, Renato is prone to injuries. This according to Okome says, no, don't bring him in. He's actually prone to injuries. Can't disagree with you, really. I mean, if anyone says don't bring in Renato because he's injury prone, we can't disagree to that. We can't. However much, we Arsenal fans do have big, discrepancies, but it's not a line for another discrepancy. He's really injury prone, but he's so good. It's very, very good. Renato is willing to join Arsenal if Arsenal is serious. He once joked with Gabriel and said, come and get me. Renato brings something different to Arsenal that we do not have. Big up to you, Alex. Hope you're fine, mate. Please, how about the deal of a striker? Like I said, the striker deal, I'm really compiling a nice show where we'll speak about all the strikers and everything like that. Cossy, I don't think we need injury prone players like Renato unless he will stay fit. Look, I can't provide a guarantee to that. Because he's not played a season. He doesn't have a season in his career where he's played 30 games. He doesn't have it. Like in the past 5 years, he played 30 games. He doesn't have that career. So, I'm skeptical as well. Really, really skeptical as well. Good afternoon, Cossy. I saw news that former Ajax coach should replace Arteta. Is it true? Ten Hag is being tipped to replace Arteta, but at the moment, again, it's still being linked to the fact that Arteta's job could be on the line. For me, if Arteta picks up 2 wins in the next 2 games or 3 wins in the next 3 games, then all that will disappear, really. Better bring Jorginho Wijnaldum. This is according to JK, my man. Says, and thank you so much, JK Akiki, for being that guy who really comments on my videos. I really appreciate. Arsenal is lacking front pressure. We need a forward. No question there, guys. No question there. Right? But I think we also need better midfielders to apply to improve our press, right? We also need better midfielders to improve our press. So basically, guys, that is the update around the team. Help me smash a like on the video if you're watching live. Our target is 200 likes. Let's get there right about now. We are at 22 likes, 27 likes, which is quite low, but really no big no big issue. So smash a like on the video, people. Really, really do that. Let's get them to 30. 3 more likes to do that. And then I'll speak to you in the preview of the Everton game today at 9 p.m. Hey!